Hi, and welcome to the Monetize Your Mission Mastermind for Thursday, April 9th, 2026. And today we have a special guest with us, Sharon Jones, who is known for helping entrepreneurs over 50 make their first dollar online or their next dollar. And I'm part of her community over on Skool, and she has a really unique way of setting things up. And I invited her to come and share with us her philosophy behind making money without spending a bunch of time at it, without trading time for dollars, which is something we're all trying to escape from. So, without further ado, here's Sharon.
G'day, everyone. Thanks, Jill. I'm very excited to be here. And for those of you who haven't met me before and don't know my story, I've had my own online business for coming up to 32 years now. It's 10th of June 1994. And back in 1996, I was kind of dragged kicking and screaming into my first $10,000 day online. I had a business partner at the time, and I had a client ring up and they wanted something done. And my business partner's pricing model meant I had to charge them $10,000, but they wanted it done in less than a day. So I was like a chick in my 20s at the time, and I was like, clearly, I am not worth $10,000 for less than a day's work. So I tried to convince everyone of that fact, and no one would listen to me. And I was whinging to my boyfriend, no one's listening to me. I'm the only one who's going to be doing the work. I'm the only one who understands how much work this is. And I know it's not worth $10,000 a day, but they're not listening to me. And he said, babe, you have not got time to worry about this now. Just get the work done and you can worry about the pricing tomorrow. And I'm like, good point. So I just got the work done. And then the next day, I didn't even have time to test anything. I delivered it and it worked really, really well for the client. And they couriered me over a check. It was back in the olden days. And once I got that check in my hand, I had completely changed my mind. And I wasn't angry that no one was listening to me anymore. I was very excited that I had made $10,000 in less than a day without leaving the house. And the thought occurred to me, if I can do this today, why can't I do this every day? And then I realized that that would be $3.65 million a year if I did it every day. And I got very excited and started telling other people about how you can make money online. And I remember my mother said, this is obscene amount of money. They shouldn't let young girls have that much money. My dad was like, I haven't made that much money in 3 months. And he was sort of at the peak of his career at the time. So from that point on, I've just been very excited about helping people actually make money. And today, I'd really like to help people make money without spending time, because a lot of people, and I, before that day, associated value with time. And I was like, well, if it's less than 24 hours, according to my hourly rate, I'm not worth that much. But clients don't care about how long it took you to give them the result. They care about getting the result. So I'm going to try and smash the connection that most people have in their head between spending time and making money. Because I see a lot of people, particularly in school, they still carry that. I call it the employee mindset, because most of employees get paid per hour. So they figure they have to turn up for an hour to get some pay. They still have that employee mindset even when they start their own school. So they'll do things like have consulting calls for an hour and they charge for that because they're associating it with having spending time to make money. So I want to help you get that mindset out of your head and start making money without spending time. So a lot of the people inside my school are in really well-paying corporate jobs, but they hate them. They hate the actual work. They hate the commute. They hate the people that they work with. They hate the politics of the office. They just hate everything. And that's spilling over into them hating their life. And so they just want to get out. But they figure that they haven't got enough time to do anything else, a side hustle, build a school, whatever, because they're still thinking about trading time for money. But when you break that, you can do anything with your time. You don't have to be chained to time. But some people see it a bit like a caravan attached to a car, and they can't unhitch the caravan from the car. They're like, well, if I'm going to be making money, I have to have time attached to it. But again, I want to break that. So does that relate to anyone here? Is anyone, I don't know, your stories? Is Abigail still with us? No? Yep, okay. Abigail, Tracy, Janelle. Janelle, I think I know your story. But is anyone in that kind of situation today, or know anyone who has that mindset of time and money connected together?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. It's very, very common. So today we're going to smash it, smash it. So what I want to do is see this graph. It sort of starts at zero time and zero. It starts at zero time, but at zero time, there's already a stack of cash there. Most people think that you have to spend time and get along that horizontal curve before you can actually make money. But what we're talking about is having a stack of cash from zero time, like on day one, and then that money getting bigger and bigger as time goes on, but not investing time first before you get any money. Because most graphs will start out like this. They'll go along the time curve before they can even start making money. We don't want to do that. To me, that's a waste of time. And I don't like wasting time. So what we're going to do is talk about putting you into a product, putting you into like a little box. I want to visualize a parcel that can be sent out as if it was on like a shelf at Amazon or Walmart, anywhere else. And people can pick up that product and take the part of you that's in that product away without involving you, and in particular, without involving your time. So I want you to start thinking about, maybe even make a note, what sort of things do you know, or what sort of skills do you have that you could pass on to other people that won't involve you being involved with your time. So, for example, if I gave you a recipe for a chocolate cake, you can go and make that chocolate cake without me being involved at all. I don't have to go to the supermarket with you and select all the ingredients with you. I don't have to mix all the ingredients together. I don't have to preheat the oven. I don't have to put it in the oven. I don't have to get it out. I don't have to slice it. I don't have to be involved in any way at all if I give you the recipe. And really, the simplest products online are just recipes. They may not be for food, but they're just a recipe. These are the ingredients you need, and this is the method to follow, and then you'll get this result. And you might think, well, a recipe is not that valuable. Who would pay for that? Well, can I introduce you to Colonel Sanders? Because he just took his recipe and made a global franchise out of it. Billions of dollars, businesses in just about every town all around the world. And all he had was a way of turning chicken into something delicious that people want to eat. And most people can make chicken at home on their own. It's not that he was a super genius. It's just that he had this secret herbs and spices, this recipe that he could follow, that he could train other people to follow, and they could deliver that result to people in a way that was consistent. So, what's your recipe? What is it that you can deliver to other people that they don't need you to be involved with? Some people get a bit scared at this point. They're like, I want to be involved. I want to, and you can if you want to, but it's even if you want to, even if you're a very hands-on people person and part of the joy of life with you is to do the journey with other people and spend your time with other people, even then it's a really good skill to develop so that different parts of when you're spending time with other people, you can pass on products. So one of the things that I have is a book called Thou Shalt Divorce, which is about my divorce, because lots of people ask me about my divorce, and I was basically re-traumatizing myself every time I told the story. I was like, I don't have to do that. I can just put everything that I learned from that experience in a book. And when someone asks me about a book, I can send them the link or give them the book or pass it on to them in a way, again, that doesn't involve any of my time, but it also doesn't involve any of my trauma to pass it on to them. So think about different ways that even if you like spending time with people, that you can add to that experience with recipes that don't involve your time. Does that make sense for everyone?
It does make sense. Can I jump in here for just a second,
Sure.
Sharon?
Yeah,
Because
yeah. Jump in anytime, Jill.
what you're talking about can also be looked at from your client's perspective. Not everybody wants to have a conversation with you right away. And if you have some sort of a recipe that they can follow without having to reach out to you, because not everybody wants to have that relationship with you right away, um, it, it it allows them to get a little bit of an idea of who you are and how you show them how to do more deeper connection type stuff later on down the line. This is amazing. It's just like this is a really
Absolutely.
important piece.
Yeah, I'm glad you raised that because that's so true. People don't want to spend time. They don't care how much time you've spent. They just want to get to the result as fast as possible in some instances. Now, some people really like making handmade things and going through, a process and spending time. I acknowledge that. But not everyone does. And you can incorporate both. This is just one of the tools that you can put in your tool set to have where you can make things as fast as possible for your client. And like you said, there's a lot of people who don't want to be face to face with you, don't want to kind of expose themselves. A lot of people are scared of even being on camera. They don't want to have a conversation. And so for those people, it's great to be able to come up with a product that has part of you involved in it that helps them get a result. Thanks for raising that. Very good point. Okay. Why is my screen going funny? Here we go. So one thing I want to talk about in particular, I was in business for decades and I had offers. I often say I've learned from many mentors that offer creation is wealth creation. And so what you want to do is have some kind of offer, which is just a product for a price. It's as simple as it has to be. And you offer that to a client. I will do this for that. And I had loads of offers, been in business for decades, and I did not know that there was an engineering structure to offers. I just had what I call take it or leave it offers. It was just a single kind of flat dwelling. Like it wasn't a skyscraper structure. It was just a single dwelling. And that was like, here, I'll do this for you. So if you go to myonliners.com.au website, all of that is automated around offers, and they are mainly domain names. And if someone chooses a domain name for their website, then it has other things that they can add onto it, like upsells for hosting, for email marketing, a whole range of things. And that's all automated on the website. But I hadn't thought of that as being an actual structure that my customers go through on a journey until I heard Alex Hormozi on Skool talking about that. And so what he talks about is having an attraction offer, an upsell, a downsell, and a continuity offer. So this is the journey that you take people on. And I talked about this last month in my community. Janelle was there. We had a monthly recurring revenue focus. And I talked about this in one of our group calls and ran Des through it. And he talked about it on the call the other day that Jill and I were on. And so Jill was like, I'm going to get you on and talk about that. So basically, you start with an attraction offer. So my attraction offer is you make your first dollar online and it costs $1. And so people know, oh, if I'm going to make $1, that's surely worth $1. So that's the attraction offer. That's what I drive traffic to. And as you can see, the little stack of coins at attraction means that it doesn't have to be very expensive. It's usually a low ticket thing. It doesn't have to be low ticket. It can be high ticket. A lot of men's dating groups has a very high ticket offer that is still their first attraction offer. So it doesn't have to be high ticket, but it's got to be something that is kind of a no-brainer. It's very attractive. If anyone is in your niche and they are the people that you want to serve, they'll have that problem, they'll recognize this as a solution. So that's all an attraction offer is. Once they get to the attraction offer, whether this is instant, like it is on my website, where an upsell is immediately offered in an automated way, or whether this is something that you manually do by interacting with your community and waiting till you see they're ready for the next step, you take them to the upsell. Now, an upsell has to have multiple elements in it. So it has to be a bundle. So the upsell, like that's automated on my website, has things like web hosting, which is just a computer where your website lives, email marketing, SEO, all sorts of things in it. But you want to have elements like a package or a bundle for your upsell. And the reason for that is because if they say no, you want to be able to take one or more of those things away from them. So that's why you design your upsell with multiple things in it. So you take them from the attraction to the most expensive solution you have. And the reason for that is you want them to know the range of services that you offer. Because some people will go, brilliant, I want it all. And some people will go, I only came here for the $1 offer, or I want parts of that, but not all of it. And you want to be able to identify what sort of customer are you dealing with? Are you dealing with the $1 customer right now, or are you dealing with the premium customer right now? And the way you do that is to offer them everything, show them everything they can have, and let them decide. So when they're at the upsell, if they decide that they're not ready to make that level of investment ever, or even just now, then you offer them the downsell, which is just taking away some of those elements. And if they then don't even want the downsell, you just say to them, looks like you're not ready for this or for this. We'll just stick with the attraction offer, and you just move them back to the attraction offer. But if they want part of it, Then you can move them to the retention offer, to the community offer. We've got another Sharon on the call. Yay. I like when there's double Sharons. Okay, so the retention offer is just your continuity offer. What are you offering to them that gives them value every month? And the way that the retention offer works in really well with Skool, because most communities have the opportunity to make monthly recurring revenue. And so that's the big treasure chest. And there's different skills that you have to learn to be able to keep people retained every month for as long as possible. And that's basically learning how to deliver value that is always compounding, always growing for them. But the retention offer can be sold in a way that is offering them everything that they get in the upsell, but they can have in a retention offer. So we're going to go through an example from one of my products. So hopefully it will make more sense for everyone. So this is the slide that Des saw that is now shifting his community towards retention offers. So they enter, and it's got like funnel language. People don't use funnel language as much anymore, but a funnel again is just a series of offers, a customer journey that you take people through. So don't get hung up on, do I have to have, funnel software and all of that? No, you don't. You just have to understand that your customer has different needs at different times, and you can walk them through those needs. So the first thing is your core offer, the attraction offer, their entry point. And as I said, mine is just make your first Skool dollar today. And I have a video training that is less than 8 minutes that takes them through how to make their first product, how to set it up in their classroom, how to set all the payment settings that they need to get that money to land in their bank account. And that's all delivered by a video training that's less than 8 minutes. I don't have to be involved in that at all. Most people, when they come into the community, just purchase that on their own because it's the first thing that they see in the classroom. And so that's the attraction offer. Now, I don't necessarily automate the next steps, but when I feel like they're ready, because people give you signals all the time, I then take them to an upsell. So one of the upsells I have is the monthly mailbox money masterclass. Say that 3 times fast. The monthly mailbox money masterclass. And that is also a bundle that includes video training. And the video training is only 18 minutes. It's not hours or showing up for hours every week or anything. It's very quick, no fluff, just tells them exactly what they need to get set up to start doing it. But it also includes a time-based offer that is email support. So for first 4 weeks, they get 24/7 email support. Anytime they get stuck, they can send. Now, this is my email that I don't give out to anyone else. It's not my mailing list email. It's only people, clients that I'm serving that are paying me to serve them. And so there's a $297 version of the bundle that has the email support taken away. So that values, if you like, that offer of email support. Now, most people don't even take me up on the email support. They never email because I've tried to make that video training as clear as possible so they never get stuck. So really, it doesn't usually take me any cost in time anyway. Are you waving at me to say something, Jill?
I'm waving to Abigail. She had to jump, but she'll catch the
Okay,
rest later.
fair enough. Because just jump in if you want to say anything. Anyone can jump in. Part of that bundle is also a 1-page template. And this takes them through all the questions, all the elements that they would have to consider and answer to get a $100 community offer up and running. And that 1-page template. It's actually more than one page now, but it's just over one page, less than 2 pages. That is something that a lot of people say, well, look, I'm going to forego the email support and I don't even want the video training. I just want to be able to work through that myself. So they take that. So if they've taken any of those options, the upsell without the email support, or the upsell without the email support, or the training and just the one-page template, then I give them an offer of signing up for every month. And I say, look, you can get all of that for free included in the actual premium offer, which is $197, so that they sign up to that, because it's no brainer, right? Rather than spending $497 today, they'll sign up for the $197 monthly offer, knowing that they can cancel at any time. But again, if you have those skills of retaining and compounding value, they won't cancel. They will stay with you. So this is the journey of someone. This is the kind of engineering structure of an offer. It's not just here's what I can do for you, take it or leave it. It's finding out where they are on the journey and how you can best serve them at the time. And some people will say, I don't want any of that. I only came here for the $1 offer. I only want the $1 offer. Some people will say, I want it all. Some people will say, I want to join the continuity offer and get into the retention thing. And others will just take a bit of the bundle. So that's all you're doing when you are putting yourself into a product. The big mistake that I see most people make is putting in their bundle something that requires their time. So they'll say, I do, a weekly one-on-one call with you, or something like that. And what they're doing is putting not just themselves, their knowledge, their experience, their recipe in the product, they're putting their time in, because they've got this mindset that it's not valuable unless I'm spending my time. Again, let me smash that. It is valuable. Clients don't care how much time, they just care, did you get them the result? So I want to just tell a bit of a story about that first client that I had on that 10K day. So it was a government minister, and he was the Minister for Education in our state. He'd had a shocker of a week in the news. Every day there was a scandal somewhere in the education system. And so the opposition was calling for the Premier to sack him. Now, he was on a multiple six-figure salary at the time, and he had like a 4-year kind of term, and it was fairly early on in his term. So if he got sacked and was out, he would have lost at least $1 million that week. It was very imminent. If he lost that money, then he could quite possibly have lost his house, because he had a big mortgage in a fancy suburb on a lovely mansion of a house. And if he lost his job and he lost his house, his marriage and his family could have been at stake. So can you see, like, it wasn't just about, can you do this product for me? It had all kinds of different connotations for him. And so he actually said to me in the first phone call, I will pay you anything. I just need this done by tomorrow morning at 9:00. And he meant, I will pay you anything, because what did it cost him? Nothing. He was spending taxpayers' money. It wasn't even coming out of his own pocket, right? So it was costing him nothing. And the benefits to him were everything that he cared about. And so when I delivered that product, he had a good news day. It all worked at the press conference at 9:00 the next morning, and he was the first story on the news, and it was a good story on the news. It was a first for our state as well, and he was super excited. That's why he got the check couriered over straight away, thought it was the best thing that had happened. So when you are thinking about what is of value, I don't want you to think of what would I find valuable. I want you to think, what would my client find value? Because it's not about anything to do with you. And some people get upset when I say that. But it's not about anything to do with you. It's about what is valuable for your client. And the higher value that a client places on it, the higher value that you can charge, that they'll be happy to pay for it. And business and government clients in particular are usually more than happy to pay lots of money. So in my business off Skool, I do coding and create apps and things like that. And government departments will often pay millions of dollars for the app to be delivered, and then usually a maintenance fee that has an annual continuity offer. And so, like, they might pay $5 million for the app and then $1 million every year that app is being used. Now, does it cost me $5 million to make that app? No, nowhere close. Does it cost me $1 million to service that app every year? No, nowhere close. But it's not about me. It's nothing to do with me. Does it cost me time for them to use the app, for all of their employees to use the app? No, doesn't cost me any time. So they're the sort of offers. Once you get into this habit, once you develop this skill, when you don't have to have any time into it, it's literally unlimited the amount of money you can make, because you're not limited by the time. If you are only selling calls that you have to be on, or any element that requires your time, a lot of coaches only do time-based coaching. They don't do any coaching products that will take people on a coaching journey. A lot of people don't do any books. They don't do anything that they can get royalties off. They don't do anything that is actually freeing them from their time. So they're stuck, even when they're really successful. And, I have doctors and lawyers that are in this. They're earning a lot of money, but they're stuck because they literally have no more time that they can put into it. And because they've been trained in one particular way of delivering their value, they can't even imagine how they would do it without spending time. So they really value someone who is good at imagining how they can do it without spending their time. Okay, so once you've taken them on the customer journey, I like to remind people that there is no too much money police. This police force does not exist. It's a skill. Once you know how to make $1 by offering someone something that's of value and them accepting it, having your system set up with all the payment settings so that money goes automatically in your bank account, you don't have to stop at $1. You can charge as much as you like to as many people as you like, and no one will come and arrest you for making too much money. My mother now does not think that it's obscene that I made that much money. She's like, why can't you make even more money? When I made my first $1 million online, the first question my mother said to me was, what are you getting your mother for Christmas? So she saw immediate benefits to herself. Once I started unlocking more money, she's like, she loves real estate. She used to be a real estate agent. She's like, can we go looking at properties together? She started dreaming, and that's what I find people do. That's why I help people with their first dollar, because before they make their first dollar, they've often tried lots of things. They've been on coaching calls with people, they've bought software, they've done the course, they've invested thousands of dollars and never got any results for themselves. Never. And so they feel like there isn't a way for them to do it. Even if they've seen other people do it, they feel like it isn't possible for them. So I kind of liken it to, if you see someone buy a ticket in the lottery and win the lottery, and all of a sudden they've got $37 million, and you decide, I'm going to quit my job because I know how to buy a lottery ticket. And a lot of people do. They go, oh, they see a course or whatever, and they think, oh, well, I could do that. But what the course doesn't have in it is what all the other people who did exactly the same thing, bought the same tickets in the same lottery, didn't have the same result. The course doesn't show you what to do then. And so a lot of people buy the course and don't know, why didn't I win the lottery on the first go? What do I do now? And they get burnt out and think, it mustn't be possible. It must all be a scam. It must be people just making it up. So that's why I like to get them to get their first dollar, because once the money lands in their bank account, it's like me getting that check for $10,000 when I was leaping around my lounge room. My boyfriend at the time was going, I think we should just hire a jumbo jet, get all our friends and fly around the world partying for a month. And I'm like, I think that's going to cost more than 10,000. But we both had no idea what it was like to be able to spend 10,000 at the time. So all of these things that you think are too hard or you don't know how to do, they all go away once you've seen that money in your account. And you're like, okay, next time I'm going to charge more than $1. Next time I'm going to tell more than one person about it. It gives you that incentive, that transformation internally to march on, to actually come to a place where you realize there's no too much money, please. I can do this. I say, like, turn the tap on. Just earn that first dollar. And then once you've got the skill of turning the tap on, you can turn it off. You can go, like, I'm going to the beach today. I'm not going to be spending any time with anyone. I can turn it on again if I want to spend time with people. I can turn it off again if I just want the recipe products where they just get the results without me. Those sorts of skills are all developed once you get that first dollar. Before you get the dollar, you're worried about, I can't do it now. I can't start. I don't know how to start. And after, you're like, how can I do it better next time? You completely change your mindset. And so I'm hoping some of you today are getting your mindset changed and that you want to actually get to a place where you are making those recipes that make money without making time. So just put in the chat if you are actually going to be making money without making time. I haven't been looking at the chat, which I should have been. Okay.
I've been keeping an eye on it. You're good.
Excellent. Oh,
People
thank
just
you,
have to
Jill.
jump off.
Fair enough. That's excellent. Okay. Go for it. Yes. Okay. Ready for recipes. Wonderful. Passive income is the best income. Yeah. Some people call it passive income. You usually do have to spend a little bit of time to create it. But one of the big mistakes I see a lot of people on Skool making is in their first product, they've spent way too much time. And they have like 5 different modules with 60 different lessons in each module. And I'm like, don't do that. Keep it simple. Just one problem, one solution, just deliver one result. It doesn't even have to be a problem. It might just be something they're aspiring to. So some people might have got a YouTube account, but they've never done their first video. I was talking to someone in my community this week who does corporate training all day, every day in their 9-to-5 job, but just couldn't face making their first video and putting it on their YouTube channel. They'd had a YouTube account for ages. They'd just been watching other people do it. And I'm like, well, let's do it now. I'm just going to hit record while we're on camera, and this is going to be your first YouTube video. And they're like, what? So it just needs to be really simple. People know those problems they have, and it seems like a big mountain to some people, but your solution can make it really, really simple. Just one result for them. Does that make sense to everyone? Just less is more. Strip out as much as you can. Just focus, put a little pin in what is the exact pain point they have and what's the quickest I can get them there. I also see this with about pages. People want to educate people when they get to their about page. I don't want to educate anyone. I want to make the time between when they first land on my about page and when they click that yellow button the shortest time possible. I want to suck all the time out of the process. So my about page is not loads of paragraphs with loads of information or anything like that. It's very simple. And I just want to get people to not spend time, to just go and click that yellow button. That's all I want them to do. And same with the products once they're inside the community. I want them to not spend time. I want them to get to the result as quick as possible.
In
Okay.
fact,
Yep, go on.
I joined Sharon's community, and her start here is the dollar. You spend your dollar in the start here section, and you start your journey right there. And everybody's going to spend the dollar because it's just a dollar. And I did want to throw in that I created this mini course creation engine that I am selling in my community, and it's part of the premium membership when you're doing the challenge. And actually, it's because of Tracy, who was trying to figure out an offer. And it's an interactive product that's specific to each individual. So if you're like, oh my God, I don't have any idea how to create an offer, or who to make my offer for, or what kinds of pieces, that's exactly what this $17 piece of software will help you do. So no time.
That's excellent. Yeah. I mean, particularly these days with ChatGPT and all the AI tools that are out there, there's things that used to take time for someone that you could contract out to someone so that you're not spending your time, but someone somewhere had to spend their time. Now, no one has to spend their time. ChatGPT will do it all for you. So just giving someone a recipe, a prompt for how to make an offer is a brilliant thing because everyone that wants to start their own community needs to know how to do that. And a lot of people have never done it before. So it's a great product. What did you say? It was $17. That's
Yeah,
that's
it's
excellent money.
actually a Claude artifact, and it's specific. It'll ask you questions, and you pick your answers, and it'll give you a sheet at the end that says this is what you should do and how much you should sell it for.
Excellent. Love that. Yeah, I had a Claude thing a few weeks ago now. And because most of my videos are based on this, like, here's the result you want to get, no fluff, here's how you get it, end of video.
Mhm.
And Claude said, can you prove that you have the skills to do this or the experience to do this or that your approach is different? And just that one question of Claude asking me that changed a bit of the way I do it. So now I usually share my story. I'll share screenshots of what my first website was like 30 years ago. And I always get sad when I do that because I look so young and beautiful. But
Right?
my websites did not look young and beautiful. They looked very primitive compared to what we can do now. But yeah, interacting with any of these AI products is going to open up a whole new world of recipes that you can offer to the people inside your community and people outside your community to get them to join your community, right? So it's a great
Yeah.
example, Jill. Does anyone have any questions about how to create products that include you without your time, that make money without spending time?
Hey Shaz, I'm Cam.
Hey,
How's it
Cam.
going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I missed the very beginning of your presentation. I'll catch it on replay, but thanks for putting this on. Um,
You're welcome.
and let me ask, I have a question about your funnel. Let me just make sure I'm remembering it correctly there. So like you got the $1, kind of pull people in with the $1 offer.
Yeah,
You got the 497, which is kind of like
yeah,
the whole package. You got the downsell at 297, takes away the email support.
yep,
Then you got the $97, like kind of like balling on a budget, $97 thing, right? Then you got the 197 continuity offer
yeah,
on the back end, which will include the 497 and all that stuff. Now, the continuity offer is sold on a scarcity basis. Um,
yeah.
so I was wondering how that works. Like, do you take it away and only offer it at certain times? Or do you like reduce the price at certain times? How does that work with your scarcity offer?
I just put a deadline in. So if I'm talking to them now, I would say like by the end of April, if you take up this, I'll put all of this into your continuity offer. And then when they join the monthly program, I make sure that all of those things are delivered to them in a conversation when they first join. It's all in the classroom, but people don't tend to just find it in the classroom. It's the same with there's a lot of unlocks that I have at different levels. So if they hit level 3, they get this video training or whatever it is, a template or a tutorial or something, and they get the notification that they've unlocked it, but they don't have time right now. They're going to come back to it, and they never do come back to it because they've had another 100 notifications by the time that they next
Oh,
log
okay.
in, right?
So you're saying that okay, so I got my monthly continuity, but it doesn't
Yep.
always include the 497 package. That is included sometimes when you're running this special deal.
No, it does always include it, but it's not obvious that it always includes it.
Okay,
So
got it.
if for example, they didn't join through like a conversation where we'd taken them through the upsell, then they would still get all of that. But most people, once they get in there, they still don't know where to start. They don't know what's high value, what's low value when it's all free. That's one of the problems with a continuity offer where it's all included. When everything is unlocked for them and everything is free from them, they don't understand. Well, this one was worth $4.97, but this one was only worth $1, right? So to them, this one may still be the most valuable, or this one may still be the most valuable, but they don't have any pricing on it to give them those signals about what's most valuable. And so that's why having a conversation with them and making sure that they know this 497 that you said that you were interested in is included in this. Does that make sense, Cam?
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate you taking the time to explain that to me. Thank you.
Oh, you're
Are you seeing
welcome.
how
Thanks for
this could
asking.
a Skool community could work kind of like an offer used to work on Warrior Plus with the upsells, downsells, side sells?
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah. I could see why you guys like Skool so much. It seems like a really cool kind of a cross between like a social media platform and a kind of membership site kind of packaged together where you can do your offers and everything. So
Yeah, I when I first started Skool, I thought it was just gonna help me to build my email list, like the classic sort of traffic, lead gen sort of thing. But I didn't get how powerful community is, and that community is actually the thing that people are craving for. Community is the thing that makes the difference. So most people find it hard to make money online simply because they're trying to do it on their own. And whenever they come up against something that gets them stuck or they don't understand, they quit thinking that it's not possible and certainly not possible for them. When they're in a community, they see other people doing it and they have other people supporting them and encouraging them and giving them the answers that they need. So the community is the solution that they don't know they need. That's why I love Skool, and that's what I got wrong about Skool initially. Hey, Tracy, why don't you just tell us that? Unmute yourself and tell us.
Mostly because my cat has been around making his ugly noise that he makes when he wants me to pay attention to him, but he's
Okay,
relatively quiet for now.
go for it.
Yeah, so I think of Skool, it's got the tiered system like Patreon has, and it's got that community aspect like social media has, whether you're on Blue Sky or Facebook or wherever. But it's structured in a way where you can find each of those pieces in a very intuitive way. And then there is also the great support where you can sell either your classes or your merchandise, however you want to set it up. And so it's like, a super powered combination of all of those things, plus a couple of extra, aspects to it. So that's why I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. Like it, in all the other places that I was in, lots of people got to see me, they got to hear me, and they got to know me, and I got their email addresses. But I didn't get to see them and hear them and know them. And so they never felt seen and heard and known by me. But in my community, I've been amazed at how powerful that is when people that start out as complete strangers feel like they know you, but once they feel like you know them, that you see them, that you're interested in them, that's the whole different dynamic to anywhere else. And in Skool, there's no like toxic comments like you get on Facebook or YouTube or anywhere else. It's a positive, very encouraging and supportive and fun and very quirky sometimes environment. It's quite unique, and I think the designers of Skool have done a really thoughtful and good job of the design, keeping out the hustle marketing bros and the some things that could actually destroy community. They're very thoughtful about making sure that community is really supported and pure. Right now, they're just like dealing with the AI thing. Like, we don't want AI posts. We don't want AI, like engagement slop, they're calling it. They don't want things that cause engagement, but really are just artificial engagement. They're just gaming the engagement side of things. They don't want any of that. They want real, genuine community so people feel like they are in a genuine community. And when I have offline events too, where I host in real life events, and people drive for hours to get there to meet people in real person because they've made real connections. And so I believe that real people should make real money and have real connections while they're helping real people solve real problems. And so that's why I like telling everyone, don't invest too much time in your products, just deliver the solutions and results to your clients.
I have a question for you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. I think it's important too to note that adults learn differently than, when we were back in school, and everybody brings an expertise to the table as adults. And so once you get into community, you can start having much richer conversations and exchanges than if you're just delivering, content, right? If you're delivering content, you're just talking about what you already know. Right. But if you're
Yeah,
talking to people and you're having conversations, you could say, wow, I already knew this one thing, but what this person is saying ties in so well and changes my perspective. And so I think that community is a place where you can start to have those conversations and everybody learns more.
absolutely. Absolutely. And like when you are solving problems in community, you're exposed to different problems that you'll never think about. One of the calls I had this week was a single mum, and she's like, where do I find people? And I'm like, well, on Schoolers, you can search. And she goes, yeah, I've done that. I never ask a question in Schoolers without like searching first for the answer. I'm like, yeah, that's good to get a technical answer, but you can just search for single mum. And she's like, I've never thought of doing that. I'm like, oh yeah, you'll find all your tribe. And so we search for single mum, because we're Australians, we spell it MUM. And then we search for single mom, MOM, for our friends in North America. And she was like amazed that so many people had that in their bio or in a comment or in a post. And Skool search found all of them. So she found like 250 self-identified single moms in just one search. Now, I would never have searched for single moms if I was just looking for myself, because that just never enters my radar. It's only in community. I'm like, okay, let's solve this one together. And now I know a way for doing that for all the single mums out there. It's a good point.
This might be opening up another can of worms. And if it is, just tell me and we can shelve it. But like, do you ladies, do you find that your Skool groups, you can grow them pretty good natively on Skool, or do you find you need to go to other places to grow your Skool group?
I can answer that in that Sam Evans is making a concerted effort to tweak the directory in order to give people groups more exposure. Their goal is that groups can grow just on Skool itself. I find a blend between bringing people from other spaces in and nurturing relationships that you make in other communities works amazingly well. You run in by joining a variety of communities, it opens the door to meeting different people. Like if I hadn't been part of Dessa's community, I'd never met Sharon. And Sharon has like a wealth of information and a unique perspective that she's brought and shared with us here in my community. So does that kind of answer your question? And Sharon,
Yeah.
you might have a different take on that.
Yeah, I have about a quarter of my traffic come from Skool and about 3/4 come from off Skool. So I do things like YouTube and TikTok and Facebook and those sort of content kind of things that drives traffic. But yeah, Skool really helps because you are interacting in community all the time. People are getting to know you. And even if they're not, they've got those tools like search and like discovery, where people can literally discover you and your community and join. So yeah, I do both. About 3/4 of it is off Skool and 1/4 is in Skool. But I'm really fussy about the people that I let into my community. And so a lot of people, come and I have a little test in my questions, a simple thing like choose the fruit. And I have a carrot and a banana and different options for them. And most people can't choose a banana because I don't know whether they just don't recognize fruit or they're just scammy, spammy bots that can't recognize fruit. But if they don't recognize the fruit, then I don't let them in the community. So, and of course, it really helped now because, again, Skool has improved with tools to help safeguard communities where you get that risk factor where it tells you that the risk score is high. So you can chat with them before. And I also
just say
ask
no.
people their age. I'm like, if their profile photo doesn't look like they're over 50, I'm like, are you over 50? Because I specialize in helping people over 50. And like if they're 45 and they still want to join and they seem genuine, I'll let them in. But for most people, if they're 25, I'll go, look, there's loads of other communities on Skool that would be better for you. So I don't let them in either.
Can I just say one thing, Sharon?
Sure.
To answer your question from earlier, from before we were recording, for anyone watching the replay, but I think that you and Jill meeting through Des's community, and then you and I meeting and meeting Cam, that's magic in your day-to-day life. And connections like that, which were sort of random and by chance because you were kind of both drawn to a community, which is a big community.
Yeah.
But then look at what's grown out of it. And so that's what I think of as a magical occurrence that you can pay attention to and start to notice things like that.
That's a great example. And I think the learning is the same. There's this fire hose of learning that comes to you every day on Skool. You don't have to sit there and go, oh, what classroom courses am I going to do today? You are constantly learning from different people. I like overtly when they say do this, but also just watching them, you're like, oh, that's really clever what they do there. And so you're just constantly in a community of really smart people that are doing really smart things, and you're learning without even realizing how much that is compounding. And you look back and you go, wow, I'm a different person to what I was 3 months or 6 months ago, right? And that's why everyone that's on Skool sounds like they're in a cult.
Well, you know what, I don't have a Skool community, but like
Yeah.
I know I go to these masterminds that Jill puts on sometimes, not always, I don't make them all, but I always get something out of them whenever I come to one. And I really appreciate them. And Shaz, it was awesome watching your presentation and getting to meet you. And always a pleasure seeing Jill and Tracy again. And I always enjoy these. So yeah, I need to be spending more time in Skool for sure. Definitely.
You do. You do. Jill,
Do
you
you
need
run
to send him an affiliate link.
do you run your whole thing from Skool, Shaz? Do you run the 497 and the other stuff right there in Skool?
I run all of that from Skool, but I
Okay.
also have I call it a real world business, where I do like more business and government clients offline. And so I have products that are 10x and 100x that I don't run through Skool. And it's more, I do spend more time with them usually when I'm in the sales process phase of it, but I don't spend time with them on the delivery. I've designed it so that the delivery, the operations are mine as my time. So it's the same principle, but the sales process is usually just a bit more time intensive.
Right on.
I appreciate you coming and sharing this today, Sharon. It's been
Thank you
amazing.
for having me.
And if you guys don't have any other questions, we'll wrap it up until next week.
Wonderful. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you all for joining us. Be sure to check out the community, Sharon's community, which you can find in the show notes below. I will link it. And also our community, the U World Order, and that will be in the show notes as well. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week.